Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Onward Master League 2. Tonight we're watching the boisterous, the vicious, the violent, silent Purge versus the ever-patient, calculating, tactical masterminds of beginners. I'm your host tonight, the Lonely Viper, joined by my fabulous, spectacular, shiny head, Radarhead.
I mean, you could have also called me a co-caster, or, you had to go with the shiny head. Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat tonight. We have Silent Purge, who are number 3 in the EU, I believe, versus Beginners, who are currently number 1.
And we'll be opening on Bazaar tonight, which I am pumped for because I think this map opens so much opportunities for different kinds of plays and strategy, and it really rewards teams who think outside the box.
What's also interesting is both teams are incredibly strong on this map. Be it against US teams, EU teams, against each other, they are both teams that strive on this map, and honestly, I think it's a favorite for both teams. So it's Silent Purge picked into Beginners, so Silent Purge are going as Marsok. So as you may or may not know, the Marsok have to get to the uplink, and Volk have to defend the uplink. Volk are in black, Marsok are in army khakis. Now what's interesting here is Silent Purge has chosen this map, which means they start as Marsok, and Beginners get the defensive advantage.
Yeah.
Silent Purge obviously comfortable with this map, but as I said, so are Beginners.
I think Silent Purge are known for really being strong on this map, historically speaking. Hoochie, I think Hoochie actually has a timeshare somewhere in Bazaar.
Interestingly, Scorpio's also playing for Silent Purge tonight, and Scorpio, this is famously a Scorpio map, or the Scorpio map. He's done so many sneaky caps on this map. The rest of the team cause a distraction, Scorpio sneaks in with a knife, gets a cap.
And Scorpio's knife kills are so spectacular to watch, although I'd be surprised if he pulls it off Beginners, but stranger things have happened. Let's talk bans really quickly. What have Silent Purge banned tonight, Radarhead?
Now, despite the victory against Boss Fight, who are pretty strong on Subway, they've actually banned Subway against Beginners. Now, Beginners are arguably even stronger than Boss Fight, so I don't blame them. But I would have assumed they would go for something else at Beginners, for like Quarantine. But again, Silent Purge are weak on no maps, in my opinion. Neither are Beginners, so it's a tough choice for Silent Purge. Maybe they're just picking the one they're least comfortable with.
Do you think we'll see a downfall pick from Beginners? Because I mean, they're pretty strong on that map, generally speaking.
I mean, yeah, they love that map, but interestingly, they lost it against Boss Fight. In the last matchup, although they beat Boss Fight overall, they lost on Downfall. Now, so did Silent Purge when they went against the same team, so who knows? Interestingly, Beginners have banned Cargo. We saw that ban come out against. I keep saying Boss Fight. I know I keep saying Boss Fight, but it's a term of reference because both of these teams have played against Boss Fight this season, and they haven't shared any other teams. So, Beginners banned Cargo against Boss Fight, and now they're pretty good on Cargo. Again, there is no weak team for Beginners, so obviously that's the map they at least want to play at the moment.
I think that's one thing I like about Beginners is being such a strong team. They're always able to deliver really impressive performances and plays. Like, I think they're a team that put a lot of hard work into understanding what their enemy does and how they think.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I mean, but they have lots of set plays. Silent Purge feel like more of a dynamic team. So this is going to be a great matchup because you have the dynamic players who move fast, or tend to move fast, like really using momentum. They're one of the fastest teams in the EU against Beginners, which are arguably the slowest team in the world. Slow and methodical. Don't get me wrong; they are methodical, and they are arguably the best team in the world on any given day. The other day is Globacam. Anyway, here we go. Round 1, map 1. Silent Purge versus Beginners.
And it looks like Beginners are taking some interesting defensive spots, taking some wide positions on the flanks to possibly look to catch some of the Silent Purgers.
Patron and Pause squaring off against each other right now. They don't know each other there, but this could engage and erupt in any second. The rest of Silent Purge taking positions in the Marsok square. So, looking for picks along the range. They're not going to find anything Beginners. Beginners all tucked in. The only pick they might find is Keasley on a very, very cheeky angle. But I don't think anyone is going to be getting killed anytime soon, apart from Daflossy, possibly, who's got a shield across his paths. But even so, that shield will block any shots coming his way.
I just want to give massive love to Daflossy, because who doesn't love Daflossy? What a great name.
Meanwhile, that standoff between Pause and Don Patron, that ironic standoff that neither of them knew the other one was there, has disengaged at the moment as Pause has repositioned with eyes on center Bazaar Market.
Easily doing a bit of pre-fire by the looks of it, or has he spotted someone?
Dom Patron still holding his angle, potentially expecting some kind of flank, which isn't coming. Pause holding a tight angle, looking inwards, giving up the east approach. So, although Dom Patron doesn't know it, east is wide open for an approach.
Oh my
on
god.
the objective. Well, I say wide open, but Smoils again has a tight line down the angle. So either way you look at it, beginners doing what they do best. They're holding down all the angles, make sure there is no avenue that you can sneak towards the objective without using smokes or without using some kind of
But to be fair to
draw your attention elsewhere.
I gotta say, I like SP's layout right now. If you look at the map, they're spread out quite nicely, holding on the angles. There's not a lot of opportunities for a wild flank from beginners or anything like that. They're taking their time, looking for picks, almost a beginner-esque tactic.
I'll go with that.
What?
Oh, Buzz, however, looking inwards, finds Hooch.
Right
Doesn't
across the
double tap
bazaar.
him, though. What's interesting is Doflossi has a shield, right? So he can move up to Hooch and get that res.
Scorpio's looking for the refrag. Is he gonna find? He's got the right angle. He is lasered on Paz's position. He might get it if Paz peeks it again. This could be the one for him. That bullet with his name on it could fly out. Scorpio's inching ever so slightly left. It's gonna come down who's the best super sampling, if you ask me.
Scorpio has a tight angle. He has to be careful though, because over half of his body is now clipping into the wall. He obviously doesn't realize it's happening, and he is on an active move. He's not tied in defensively, but
I'll be super impressed if he pulls this off. It would be a really nice shot, but I'm
super surprised if he doesn't kill Hoochie on the way past.
I mean, I would have thought you'd need a 12x to pull off a shot like this. Being me, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, just move west.
The arguably one of the best snipers in the league. The Lonely Viper. I love this. Check this out. These lasers just tripping over each other. Either, like, again, pause in an unknown stalemate from another player. Scorpio finds him, but his shots miss.
Oh, did he finish off Hoochie?
Hoochie somehow still alive.
Killinger might peek now and get the shot. Killinger put out some smoke.
Grenade coming in though. It's full shot. It's not gonna find anyone. Unexpected from Killinger.
Don picks up Smoils.
Smoils picks up Dom Patron. Oh no! And Scop gets a revive on Hoochie, but Paz kills them both, leaving only 2 Silent Purge players left. Scops went for the res. Paz.
Yeah. Flossie's in a really awkward
down.
spot right now, surrounded by beginners. Peasley's
Do they know
pushing
he's
him
there?
almost.
Yeah, no, Killinger calling him out. Doflossi.
Flossie's in trouble. Meanwhile, if I was to guess, I would say Paz might pick up RPT as he tries to cross the road. The Flossie's coming out. Is he looking to move his way out of there? I think he is. Flossie's looking for an opportunity to get out of that building and possibly make a go, but Woods is waiting for him.
1 minute 40 on the clock. Doflossi can take his time right now.
I don't think he's gonna. I think he's
to do this with
playing in hard.
Oh, wow. Doflossi going in. Killinger must hear him above him. I see Woods. Doesn't know
Yeah,
his
Killinger's
location.
called him out. Woods is looking. Shots coming out, bouncing off the shield.
Doflossi repositioning, but there's still 2 more beginners up who could reposition to take him down. Paul's gonna find an RPT. And now it's all down to Doflossi.
I knew it. I wanted to go, but I couldn't take my eyes off the shield plays, and oh, there we go.
Doflossi, unexpected push. The wrong time, completely going past Killinger. Silent Purge lose round 1.
I mean, impressive stuff kind of for beginners. Really tight defense, really held the line. Paz did some serious work to cut off that push through the bazaar. Scorpio just couldn't get the angle on him. I think he took some shots, but wasn't able to find his mark, unfortunately.
What's interesting is the Paz went back to that angle, and arguably Scorpio did the wrong thing. He needed to put down a smoke, or even more arguably, or less arguably, Doflossi should have been the one to fall back with a shield to secure that res. Would have made such a difference, because if he was able to secure that res, he would have had 2 players up, rather than 2 players dying to that res. So you would have had a full team to push. Could have made all the difference, but we'll never know.
And I think, judging by Don Patron's positioning, you kind of had a sense that Paz was going to be in that eastern block looking for crosses, in that room too. And it's kind of curious that Hooch wasn't kind of more prepared for it and able to kind of even sneak an angle or pre-fire it.
Well, I mean, I think Hooch probably moved in looking at that angle. Paz was tucked in, and obviously has great map awareness and reactions, because he took Hooch down immediately.
Yeah. And that's no small feat. Hoochie being the king of Bazaar and all that.
Well, if he's the king, then surely Scorpio is the queen.
And they hold hands and drink tea together.
Yeah, and attend like ceremonies and tea parties. Anyway, Silent Purge now going on the defense. Once one round's over, teams switch sides. Marsok will spawn in one of some preconceived random locations, whereas the Volk team will always spawn in the same location. Volk team will always spawn nearer the objective, which gives them the moment of time and momentum to actually get in defensive positions before Marsok can possibly attack.
Let's see what beginners can do with the time momentum they have before having their spawn spotted. Will there be any pre-fire?
I'm loving Silent Purge's pre-smokes going out. What this does is actually blocks views for pre-fires, where Marsok might be able to get an angle which would cut down a defender as they get into a defensive position. What it also does, it serves as a block to stopping Marsok teams seeing where the Vault defenders actually go, regardless of where they get to shoot them.
Yeah, it's really effective, because I know if you spawn on the northwest side of the map, there's a pre-fire opportunity to take out defenders as they cross the street.
As well do Silent Purge know, thus they're using all the smokes, I assume. Scorpio taking the southeast area. Dr. Killinger also in the east. We'll see a standoff there. We can see beginners doing a 2-2-1 split, taking complete spread across the map.
It's a good layout. It's interesting. I mean, would you potentially have a gap in that you could run a defender across the street on the west side? Maybe. No, I think the blue room probably has a cover.
No, I think
Smalls does.
Yeah. Again, this is beginners, and beginners don't tend to leave holes in the defense. They're very wary of flankers.
Oh, pre-fire coming out from Woods towards DeFlossy in the window. He doesn't find him, but I mean, it's enough to let him know that, hey, you can't watch me through that window, you little peeping Tom.
Yeah, but DeFlossy doesn't seem phased at all.
Yeah, DeFlossy probably expected it. He just wanted the intel to spot Woods or beginners moving there.
So interesting now, we can see Killinger has looked for an initial flank on the east side, and now Killinger is repositioning all the way around the map.
He's running
Probably
his
decided
tiny legs off. What has he decided, Radar? Finish that thought.
Well, he decided he doesn't want to push on the east. He's seen that no immediate flank is coming, and he's decided to move accordingly. That flank, though, covered possibly by Peasley down the street. No, he doesn't have an angle. So, arguably, the east side is wide open, but you'd have to be quite ballsy for Silent Purge to actually run a flanker across the road. They don't know whether it's being watched or not, and it would be the wrong move to do. With a god's eye view, it would be the right move, but of course, they don't have that.
I wonder if we're going to see Peasley. Oh, Woods doing some pre-fire on the objective window where Hoochie resides. Hoochie.
So for new viewers, the reason why we see I see Woods doing suppression fire then is because when the fire is happening with you in VR, the sounds of the bullets ricocheting anywhere near you is very deafening. Also, there's a slight visual effect which kind of diffuses your view, makes it much harder to see the enemy. So in this game, pre-fire and suppression fire is very effective. Here we see smokes going out on the west side of the road. Peasley able to cross. Great smoking from beginners here. No challenge on them.
I saw Global Cam use a similar tactic to get across the street, and it seems to be largely effective with the right levels of cover.
What's interesting is that Silent Purge didn't really challenge it. No real suppression going into it. And 3 of beginners' team have now crossed successfully. What is a very hard cross to do without that clean. Well, Smoils finds Scorpio. Scorpio finds Smoils.
RPT could be looking for the refrag.
Smoils is Reservoir, whereas Scorpio is not. So this allows Smoils to call in intel on the enemy team from his position. He can't move. However, a teammate could push to him and get and using his syringe, bring him back up to combat status. Icy Woods are looking for a tight angle here now. He knows that someone's going to be in that defensive room, but he doesn't quite have the angle on the window. Beginners now holding while the rest of the team
cross from pause here up to the concrete barrier. Very naughty.
So what's interesting about Silent Purge's defensive line here is they are a very, very kind of, I want to say, pessimistic defense. They're not going aggressive. They're not looking for flanks. They're not going to try and counter-move the enemy. They're waiting for the attack to happen, and then they're going to react to it.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to come up with something. Beginners now, exchanging equipment, coming up with strategy.
Hoochie making some risky peeks through that objective window, stands in front of it for a good 3 to 4 seconds. Doesn't get
No,
found, but
if you don't try, you'll never get anywhere. Whoa, Hoochie picks up Killinger.
Then he looks at the right window at the right time, and Killinger goes down. It's now 4 versus 4, although Beginner's only a 3-act. So what the Marsok team, the blue team, are trying to do here is get to the objective. They're not just trying to wipe out the enemy. If they can get to the objective and enter a code, they can get 2 points. Dom finds Peasley. Pos runs in now, gets a refrag on Hoochie.
He's on the objective, Don.
Whoa. Pos taken down. It's now 1 versus 3. I see Woods not choosing to go for a Smiles res.
Choosing rather to use the cat for intelligence than actual booty shoots. I mean, information made the cat fat, so, you know, he's rolling with it. I get it.
That was terrible. You're a terrible person saying it. I see Woods now, the sole Marsok attacker. RPT finds him.
RPT takes him out.
Silent Purge. Hold convincingly. 3 defenders still up.
Impressive. Going 1 for 1 on defensive rounds. That's nothing to balk at.
So Silent Purge throwing the metal, the defense was not, I wouldn't say dynamic, but the collapse worked. Beginners potentially looking for that cap, didn't find it, and Silent Purge were able to shut them down completely. So it's 1-on-1 piece with the defense holding both rounds.
Yeah.
Who would you say looked stronger in either of those attacks / defenses?
It's a good question. I would probably say Beginners looked a bit stronger on the first one. If I was to
I think I'd go with that.
Completely shoot in the dark.
Beginners were able successfully to deploy like most of the team across the road and put themselves in a great position to attack, whereas most of Silent Purge got shot down way outside of objective range, all apart from the Flossie with the shield.
That silly Flossie. How could he do this? So, I mean, if you were to put your money on a team taking it tonight, who are you banking on?
I mean, I've got to go with, like, historically, I've got to go with Beginners. They are a team who has been the grand champion of Onward VRML multiple times, possibly the most. I think Globochem may be the only other team that has done it as many times, or possibly more than Beginners. So, yeah, I have to give it to Beginners. We again, Boss Fight faced the only team to really act as a benchmark this season, has faced both of them. They came close to beating Beginners. They came 1 point away, but they did beat Silent Purge. So, again, if we're going to use that as a benchmark, the stronger team on paper, at least, is arguably Beginners. As we go into round 3 with Beginners defending the West objective. This is my favorite objective to see because so many routes of attack, so many routes of defense, so many different styles of defense and attack on this objective.
Yeah. That's for a lot of opportunity. The early positioning phase is critical, though, for the defenders because depending on how much ground they can take from the attackers can really impact how effective a good attack can be.
Yep, there's Silent Purge pushing quickly and getting some pre-fires out.
Hoochie calling out.
He may have picked one up, but he didn't get the player he thought. But regardless, he called out the intel. That player knows and will be repositioning.
Look at that deep positioning key out from one of the members of Beginners.
Look at the Flossie now. He's a solo shield player charging around looking for the defenders. Making noise, maybe trying to draw some attention towards the north Kiot area, whereas the rest of Silent Purge have spread out in almost a perfect kind of diagonal formation across the map.
Yeah, really.
There's
Again,
like
I like Silent Purge's layout.
them.
Yeah, the way they've laid out is very effective, though. I think it's going to really work in their favor to kind of
It gives them
exert
complete
more
map
pressure.
control. Like,
Yeah,
complete map control.
you would not slip. You would not slip someone by that team right now.
No.
Oh, Dr. Killinger looking for a very tight line down the left side of down the west side of the bazaar. He might pick up Hoochie as he comes around this corner.
Don Patron finding Icy Woods again.
Oh.
What a pick. I can't even see how he did that. I'm trying to find...
But it could be as well a missed shot.
Nope, I can't find it. I legitimately can't find it. But a really important pick for Silent Purge. They've made their mark on the map. So actually I see that he was taken through a window across Middle Market. Don Patron found an angle on a peeking defender. Scorpio picking up Smoils. This is huge. Scorpio now checking Scorpio's position. Viper, he is now in a really aggressive position on the blue room. The defenders are completely out of position.
Wow. How the hell did he get in there?
He took down a single defender, and Beginner's defense left that wide open, but they've collapsed accordingly. Killinger finds Don Patron. A refrag is true. Pause. Gonna find Scorpio. It's actually Peasley who finds Scorpio. Scorpio possibly getting a bit over-aggressive there without the rest of his team there to back him up. Hoochie finds killing her. That leaves 2 defenders. Silent Purge 3 players up, left to attack.
Again, I think this is where you really begin to see Silent Purge shine in these CQB fights.
I agree, but what they lacked is beginners kind of strike potential. You saw Scorpio in an amazing position, and if he just had a bit more patience and allowed the rest of the team to move up, he could have been a really, really great cap potential there.
Yeah.
But still, a great plays from all players. Scorpio still picked up a kill, opened up the defense, forced the collapse on the objective. That leaves
Look at DeFlossy now. He's actually managed to slip in on the north side of the objective. This is really good for Silent Purge. They've got a really good pincer on the defensive team right now.
But what's really interesting here, Viper, is that, you know, DeFlossy's just always had a grenade in his hand, and he's solo. He's never running with a teammate, and he's a shield player.
Yeah, he relies on nobody. His job maybe is also distraction. Maybe his job is to get in and mess.
I am no man's shield. Silent Purge
Having
now.
a gunner's for losers.
Hoochie and RPT slowly pushing up on the south side of the objective. Meanwhile, DeFlossy grenading out on a position he'd hoped a beginner's player would be. Doesn't find anyone. He now pushes up to try and confirm the kill. That didn't happen.
I think it's fair to say that his job is probably just make a lot of noise right now and be a distraction. And, oh, the C4 coming out, taking out Hoochie immediately.
Amazing work there from Pause. That evens it out now to 2 versus 2. And check out RPT's position here. Very cheeky.
Very, very cheeky. Very clever. It's a good spot. Good angle.
Doesn't find anyone, but...
DeFlossy's in on objective. He's going... Could he go for cap? He's moving.
Yeah, but he's got his back to Pause now. He's got his back to Pause. He's just going to be able to sneak.
If he just had a bit of support, he could do it.
Pause doesn't know he's there. That smoke is now destroyed.
Oh, wow.
RPT finds Peasley. It's 1 versus 1 now with Pause having to collect on the objective. He hears the gunfire. RPT sees and misses the shots. Gets the shots.
Silent Purge
taking the round.
Well
What a
played.
sighing finish to that round.
Moments of utter intenseness. Gotta say, I like that. I liked how they played it. It was a little bit disjointed in how Silent Purge finally came in on the objective. Like, they had their shield guy in there, but there was no support at all. Not until the very end, and I only think it's pure chance RPT was looking through that window that he was able to even support, like, pick up any kills off the pushes from DeFlossy.
Possibly. What was very evident there, though, was the beginners, or at least Pause, did not have a complete kill count at the end. I don't think he knew it was a 1 versus 1 because he panicked. Well, he didn't panic, but he decided to run across the road back to the objective to try and hold the objective, fearing a potential cap was in hand. As a reminder, if you were able to get the uplink code dialed in via your tablet, you get 2 points rather than 1 point. So I can understand beginners' fear of that happening, but had Pause known it was a 1 versus 1, he heard where the shots had come from to kill his teammate. So I'm guessing he would have taken a different defensive position.
Yeah. Agreed. So
Silent Purge now looking strong. They're on the defensive round with a defensive advantage of 2 points up to the 1 beginner's point. Beginners now probably feeling a little bit of the strain, but it's still map 1. Still 2 points required by Silent Purge to close this map out. So beginners probably only feeling a little bit of pressure, but they're used to this kind of pressure, and they are stone cold killers in this game.
Well, being in the EU League, full of such dominant teams, is bound to, you know, create a resilience to pressure because there's such a high level of competitiveness among the top tiers of EU. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. These guys don't react badly under pressure.
I think it's worth saying as well that beginners were forged in the fires of boss fight in Season 2, just week after week of relentless, merciless pounding. I respect them.
Yeah, well, as other teams would capitulate, disband, beginners did not. They grew strong, powerful, resentful, and eventually deposed boss fight as the #1 EU team, and have held that position ever since, really. Apart from possibly Vikings last season. Mind you, having said that, beginners still made it to the final, still almost took the crown. It's gonna go now. Hoochie getting picked up by Killinger. Killinger was ready for him as Hoochie came on that aggressive defensive position. DeFlossy now pushing up to make sure that hole does not get filled by a player. Beginners spreading out, looking for flanks.
That's what DeFlossy definitely doesn't want. He doesn't want any holes getting filled.
Beginners now again, complete control of the map. We see Silent Purge taking an even tighter defense than we saw Beginner's take.
I like RPT's position. It's a good. It's a vulnerable room. Like it's a common position to see people in, but it's effective in that it exerts a significant amount of control over, you know, the street crossing and the eastern block as well.
Yeah, it exerts a lot of control over southwest area, and also you
also
can see enemies
north.
coming in from behind, so you can actually be a
Yeah.
great source of intel for your team, and also gives you good reaction area. Unfortunately, it leaves you as an island. You know, as enemies come near, it'll, you know, move up to your position. Your teammates are going to be hard pressed to give you any real defensive cover.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can also catch anybody coming across north as well. So again, you've got more angles to cover. You've got more angles to be shot from, but the potential is there. Easily putting out some cheeky love taps. You ever just love listening to Peasley's voice?
Always. I go to sleep
lovely
listening
voice.
to it. I have pre-recordings of Peasley.
Probably ask him for permission.
Nope.
I mean, I think he'd have something to say about it. Random fire coming out from this cheeky cat down the back of the map. Silent Purge got to be feeling a little bit of pressure right now, having lost a guy off the bat.
Yeah, but they've played against beginners long enough to know that this is just beginners playing beginner style. Beginners looking for those picks. They're not really a good 2 minutes before the real attack's going to begin.
The Flossie peeking out from that dark room across the street, looking to pick up Icy Woods, doing a bit of pre-firing as he tries to catch Don Patron. Ooh, shots coming very close, but I don't think they're quite catching the level of bullet penetration he needs to take him out. Silence descends on the battlefield now as we wait. Beginners to hit the 2-minute mark and execute something truly spectacular. None of us were prepared for it, but we definitely wanted.
I mean, this is where beginners thrive. They put the enemy under pressure, they make you sweat, they get themselves in great positions, they coordinate. And this is where you see a real difference that I find between Silent Purge and beginners. Silent Purge may be more dynamic, but beginners are tried, tested, and true, and their coordination is second.
Oh, Icy Woods picks up Don Patron.
So this is
Nicely
where,
done.
obviously, should be hearing positional data from pause and killing. So what's really interesting to know is sound interpretation in this game is so important. Being able to hear the footsteps, knowing they're not teammates, you can call that out to teammates that you hear an enemy in such and such area.
Yeah, that M249 usage and suppression from beginners is absolutely critical to allow them to gain the ground they've gotten so far. Like with that suppression, for example, DeFlossie may not heard Killinger and pause positioning into that room, those rooms on the front of the street.
Oh God, gosh knows, I couldn't even hear you speaking while he was firing. So who knows if DeFlossie heard anything?
RPT having a really cheeky angle, just peeking out, watching that south cross. It's actually quite a nice
Killing
angle
is
to
going
hold.
on with a cheeky angle as he pushes up to where Hoochie died. Pause also in a similar area, or sweeping for targets. DeFlossie must hear Killinger now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think DeFlossie's too scared to give away his position.
I mean, at this
Not
point,
calling it in.
Killinger's gotten what he wanted. Like, he wants to be that close. I mean, he's got everything he needs. Now
Smallville's
comes out the
cheekily
smoke.
walking a smoke across the road now, placing it expertly to block the cross view.
Yeah.
Flossie looking for Smiles.
DeFlossie sees him, but
Doesn't see him.
isn't able to take the shot.
Smiles transfers now to blue room. The attack is incoming to Flossie, repositioning as his position's been made. Fortunately, DeFlossie's no one on his 6 as beginners start their major push now as they all come in from the southern vectors.
Killinger firing into the Flossie's
repositioning.
room. He sees him and takes him out anyway. And it was almost a great reposition, but unfortunately, he just wasn't able to do anything.
5 beginners now up. Scorpio goes down. 2 Master players down. RPT. And that's that.
Very well played. Interesting how we went from both defenders taking the objective to both attackers taking the objective.
Maybe it's a sign of the objective. I mean, I personally find that objective hard to hold, and I don't know whether it's because the tactics my team use, which is boss fight, to defend that are inadequate, or if it's just that objective is very hard to hold. Judging from two expert teams both failing to hold it, maybe it's a case that it's just too hard an objective to hold. Maybe it's prefers the attacker.
Maybe. And just take a look at the scoreboard really quick. Paw's rocking a hot 7 kills.
Yeah,
Whereas we're
Paw's
looking at
a new pickup for beginners. He joined towards the end of the last season, season 9, and he's been a key pickup for them. He's he's always a force to be reckoned with while he plays with beginners. Almost always at the top of the leaderboard. Exactly the kind of players beginner obviously looking for, being potentially the best EU team.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like how beginners approach recruitment. Are you good? Okay, we'll try you out for a few scrims.
Well, no, it's are you good, and do you have 5 minutes to spend before attacking? That is a key. And do you have patience, I suppose? Do you have patience?
Yeah, but I mean, again, I like that is so important and critical in a milsim-like game, is being able to exert so much influence across the map and play that kind of psychological mind game, make people get antsy, catch them out.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have the East objective. Now, speaking of objectives that are hard to defend, this is again is a very, in my experience, a very hard objective to defend. Beginners, a team that will push and punish for any weaknesses they see, but more than capable of holding this. But again, Silent Purge, known to be doing some very cheeky attacks on this objective.
Silent Purge also got a favorable spawn on this one. I'll be curious to see how they play it. Hoochie immediately going for the middle of the bazaar, whipping out his LMG. Is he putting out the pre-fire? No, he's just looking for anybody being cheeky. Far coming out from beginners, not finding targets. Again, most teams just establishing initial dominance, saying, hey, you can't go here. I'm putting lead here. If I catch you out, you're mine. I like how Dompatron and Scorpio taking up initial positions in the Kiot building west side.
Increasingly, we see the attackers taking that position and making sure to hold it. It provides so much overwatch of the battlefield that if the defender is able to take it, it really slows down any Marsok attack.
Yeah. One thing I find about this objective as well is I think competitively the defensive options have kind of stagnated a little bit. Like normally you see the same layout game after game after game, like one in the blue room, one in the red room, one in the the south blue room, and then 1 to 2 across the road. The only variation I tend to see on this one is maybe whether you put one guy in an extra guy in your back east side, or you send someone into Kiot, which is more dependent on the spawns than anything else. So if we just watch here, Scorpio's pushing the north road and Peasley's watching like a hawk.
So what's interesting to see from beginners here is that they are not going aggressive on this defense. They are holding the lines. Apart from Peasley, who's actively looking for enemies, most of beginners are sitting silent, sitting quiet, listening for the footsteps. And now, of course, just to prove me wrong, Killinger doing some peeks into middle market.
One of the most crazy effective things in this game is the untimed random peek, because you spend so long clearing different windows and locations that if somebody repositions it or just happens to just peek a window in a moment you're not ready, you can just get caught, and it's just bad luck.
You have to have the reactions to pick it up, but arguably both these teams and all the players on both these teams will be the player that punishes you.
Yeah. Punishing. Lots of punishing. Peasley making some crazy down signals, suggesting, or not Peasley, DeFlossy making some crazy down signals, suggesting to Hoochie that someone is nearby. Hoochie trading blows and Peasley winning it out. Scorpio, apologies. Scorpio trading blows and Peasley winning it out. Dompatron looking for the refrag, but I'd say Peasley's long gone.
Yeah, Peasley just changed his angle and reinitializes on the angle to make sure there's no push-up on the North Road.
Yeah. Hoochie now in very close
Silent
proximity
Purge
to the
all
defenders.
getting into positions now.
Yeah, very tight in on the defenders. This is where CQB is going to shine. Or PT taking down Icy Woods on that
Peasley
east
fighting
side?
Scorpio though, so it's now a 4 versus 4 situation. Beginners, defense still holding, but Silent Purge moving into aggressive attacking positions.
Yeah. Right up on Dr. Killinger.
Overcheck.
RPT double tapping Woods' body. Might make him catch a bullet though if he's not careful.
Wow, Hoochie and Don Patron in great position to attack. Pause.
Don's
key defender
going.
here.
Don's already kind of moving in there.
Smiles has got. What you see here though is overlapping links fields of fire on the objective. They do not want to drop the objective because at 2 points, an objective means you win the round.
Pause looking away
Smiles, Pause, both looking objective. Peasley out of position. So arguably, if Pause and Killinger and Smiles quickly get taken down, Don Patron. Pause finding Don Patron.
Don Hoochie now. Can he find Dr. Killinger? RPT gets
finds
Smiles. Killinger's looking away now. This is Coochie's moment. He's going in. He misses him. Oh, Killinger outplays him.
Killinger punishes him. Dr. Flossie. The Flossie coming in now, not rocking a shield. Doesn't get the refrag.
Oh,
Peasley
gets killed.
The Flossie. Wow,
Peasley
that
gets
could
him
have gone
across the street.
so well for Silent Purge if Hoochie got the pickup. RPT now gonna find Peasley.
You know,
He's in the
if they
opening.
just timed it better, like if they just timed it better, and that can be luck as much as anything.
Killinger
But
looking
if
at
they
RPT.
watch him as he
They
pushes
hear
on
each other.
Killinger, doesn't find him.
RPT repositioning Killinger, calling him out. A minute 15 on the clock. RPT needs to play this carefully.
You can bet RPT like they know RPT's the last guy and they're ready for him.
Killinger calling out his positions. RPT knows he's there. He's looking for that angle. Expecting Killinger to flank around him. It's not coming. Killinger's holding the line on the objective. Pause also holding the line on the objective. RPT feeling that pressure now. 50 seconds left on the clock. Killinger talking, so that should tell RPT there's at least one wall defender left, so trade with Killinger won't be enough, and he must know this.
Yeah. Plus, Killinger might have been just trying to bait him into pushing him at that point, in which case Pause would pick him off. But RPT's rotating around. Pause is probably calling it out silently on the radio. Oh!
Pause about to pick
And
up.
that's G.
RPT finds Killinger. Pause was there. Well, Killinger also found RPT, so Pause gonna be relevant there, but as that last player up secures the beginner's win. That leaves beginners now on 3-2. Silent Purge on the defensive advantage, but I'm not sure being on defense is an advantage on this objective.
It's touch and go, really. Like there's so many different things that come into play, and timing is one massive factor of that, which unfortunately was almost on the side of SB there, but beginners just held such a consistently tight defense. It worked out in their favor, and Killinger's gunplay was just excellent there. The way he
It
outmaneuvered
was, but at the
Hoochie.
same time, Hooch missed a key kill there. He came out behind Killinger and did not manage to secure him. And then, of course, missing the frag as Killinger came back in the room. He wasn't ready. He charged to take on Killinger, expecting a ring around the Rosie chase, but was not prepared when Killinger actually came back around on him. If Hoochie had taken down Killinger, that would have arguably left the objective, well, Pause as the sole defender on the objective. And that map could have gone very, very differently.
Who's ever really ready for Killinger, though?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I don't have an answer for you. Smiles, I guess, but I guess that's why you recruited Smiles. I'm guessing that's how they became best of friends. Yin and Yang, super serious and super not serious, on one team. The artist and the scientist. As we go into what might be the final round of Map 1, Silent Purge. I take it back. They're just playing with me.
You're being teased,
Going into
man.
what might be the final round of Map 1, Silent Purge need to hold this objective to stand any chance of taking the map.
Real question is, will they? Looks like it's a mirrored spawn for beginners now on offense. Let's see. I wonder if we'll see a different defensive layout coming out from SP. I think they're a more aggressive team, but with everything on the line for this final match point, potentially, will they take an aggressive defense?
I wouldn't. Well, I would be surprised if they take an aggressive defense. I think they're going to be feeling the pressure. I think they're going to try and want to play this safe. Hoochie finding Icy Woods. That's
Wow.
a massive pickup.
On that
Hoochie's
north wall,
position
no
is
less.
super cheeky.
Frag coming out. They're ready for him. He manages to slip away just in time.
The barrels shielding him just. Hoochie falls back, having picked up one of the attackers. This is a big pick for Silent Purge.
Yeah, absolutely, massively critical.
killing a Peasley. Pause, taking up positions in Kiot. Hoochie still with Overwatch near the area. Meanwhile, Smoils on the other side of the map, making some noise, being that solo artist on a band full of legends. Now, Silent Purge defensive makeup here. Nothing truly dynamic about it. It's, all with the exception of Hoochie. All pretty standard defensive positions, but standard because they work.
Yeah.
Not standard because they're boring. Standard because these are tried and tested defensive positions that you, even if you have a vague idea that they might be there, you still have to somehow dislodge them and push through them to stand any chance of actually getting the objective or getting that victory.
Very, very missionary defensive positions.
Wow. Missionary positions, I like it. The missionary positions of East Objective Defense.
Known throughout the land. Consistent, reliable, good, and effective.
Now beginners showing the tried and tested, my word of the night, my phrase of the night, should I say, attack style of looking for picks, holding angles, looking through all the windows, Peasley killing her. You see the lasers from their guns sweeping. Bearing in mind that they don't see that. This is only for perspective for the spectators that you actually see these lasers with the weapons sweeping. All they see is an iron sight or a red dot sight. Unless,
Feel free to come back in about 2 minutes when things kick off.
This is the curse of seeing such a talented team play. So their style, methodical, slow. This is why they're so good. They wait out the enemy. They punish any mistakes the enemy makes.
I mean, time is a resource. Why wouldn't you use it to its absolute maximum?
I don't know. Some teams, other teams try this tactic and they get it wrong. They leave it to the last minute and then just panic in the last minute rather than being the ones to make the enemy panic.
Timing is such a massive part of this game. Like you have to really.
You didn't see the irony of me getting my timing wrong on saying game then?
Yeah, I saw it. Well, I mean, maybe that's the Discord thing. Maybe it came out right over the cast.
Anyway, so Smiles now all by himself, looking for a flanking position. The rest of beginners happy to wait for Smiles to try and get some pickups and make some noise on the other side of the map.
Dr. K doing a little
this
pre-fire.
attack relies heavily on Smiles being able to convert something on this side and draw the attention away from the rest of the beginners team. That being said, beginners now changing up the positions, getting ready for the attack. Or just trying to draw out a response.
I think they're just trying to bait out a response right now to get a sense of, get some intel on enemy positions. Not that they really need it. Maybe they're trying to bait some sloppiness, which I don't think you're going to see too much of from SP. They're fairly seasoned.
Silent Purge, a top 4 team in the EU. They finished 4th on the leaderboard in EU, but actually finished 3rd worldwide as they failed to defeat Globochem in the semifinals, but then defeated Boss Fight in the 3rd place third place match.
I think interesting, we might see, as if beginners go for like a hardcore push through the middle, I think we'll see like Hoochie wrap around the north and try and punish them for if they're not watching.
Overcheck.
We're all G.
All G, baby. So what we're seeing beginners here like doing is that they're looking through all the windows. Basically, while they wait for Smalls to get in position, the rest of the team are just trying to force out a reaction from Silent Purge so they can get a pick and make their actual final attack more fluid. What I really like about beginners, and don't really understand what they're doing, is they're actually spreading out in preparation for the attack. They're not stacking up. They're not all getting ready to charge from close areas. They're actually spreading wide out to attack from multiple directions at once. Killing a fighting Hoochie though.
Picking up Hoochie, nicely done. Ready for that. That means the north flank risk is now significantly closed off. 4 defenders left to deal with.
You're not going to get a north flank risk anymore, if you ask me. That means that the only area they have to worry about is the actual defenders on the objective. This draws it up to 4 versus 4 with 48 seconds left to go. Smoils.
Killinger pushing in. On Scorpio. Defeat Scorpio in combat again. Pause on the objective now.
Pause can't cap from that range, and he knows it. Easy finds RPT. The Floss
Smoils is going for cap. He's going for it. He's the last guy left alive. If he goes down, it's GG. Dom Patron sees him, takes some shots. We are having some technical difficulties with Radar's voice right now, but that was a hell of a play from beginners. I think they were in complete control of that situation. I even think they risked losing people for the cap, and I think, you know, it didn't pay off. You know, like Smalls was able to just turn it around on a dime. I suspect it could be a technical issue with our communication servers on the Discord side, perhaps. But right now, we lost our audio from our co-caster. But fear not, because your procaster, Lonely Vipers, got you, ladies and gentlemen. I've got this covered. Let's give beginners a point. Well, that's the first map to beginners. Massive congrats to them. That was really well played. Gotta say, some really interesting moments there, but overall, I mean, I never felt for a moment that the beginners weren't in control of that map and that particular objective. But I mean, look, Silent Purge really brought it to him closely. And there's no doubt in my mind that it could have gotten a lot more interesting if things had just worked out a bit differently.
Yeah, I think, again, that was unlucky of Dompatron that he ran out of bullets. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Exactly the wrong time. You hear that click in the chamber. Unfortunately, I mean, he had the shot on Smiles. I guess that desperation to stop the cap was what
drives you to do
actually
crazy
failed.
things.
Yeah, what failed Don in the end.
But I think there's a critical moment there when Killinger had killed the immediate defender on the objective. And once that had happened, once you lose that guy in there, you lose critical vision and control of the objective. Immediately, the remaining guys in different positions feel the urge to rotate. And all you have to do as the attacker is just wait and pick them off as they move. And they'll move. They always move.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But with only 50 seconds left on the clock, or 40 seconds left on the clock, it does put you in a position where if they don't move and you don't move, you lose.
True, but equally, if you obscure vision of the objective and you've got control of that room, you forcing in a rotation. They absolutely have to move. Right?
Yes and no. I mean, they still had Overwatch on the objective. Like, even with killing it out, they still had full Overwatch on the objective.
Right, but what I'm saying is if a smoke was used to deny vision from say the far side blue room and the immediate red room over, you would then force rotations out and possibly pick up some.
Yeah, I mean that's the right thing to do. Of course, the right thing to do is rotate out. But all I'm saying is that can't guarantee that's what's going to happen as the attacker, and so you can't just sit back and let the enemy run into your guns.
No.
But what we saw with a 1 versus 1 situation, I really thought Silent Purge were going to get it because Dompatron came round on Smiles while Smiles had the tablet out.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, this is game over. Silent Purge are going to take it to the final round. It's going to go 3 versus 3, and it's going to have to be a Kiot defense, but that was not to be. So what's interesting now is what is map 2 going to be? My vote.
I'm calling
is Downfall.
Yeah, there we go. We're on the same page. That's what I love about you.
Or is it going to be Quarantine? I know. I take it back. It might be Quarantine. I'm going to go with Quarantine. I take it back. I reckon it's going to be Quarantine.
You just love to be different. You just love to disagree with me.
No, I don't.
It's literally your raison d'etre. I think I said that poorly.
Raison d'etre. No, I don't know how to say that. Yes. I almost went too far with it. What are they going to pick? Why are they teasing us like this? That's what I want to know. Why are they teasing
Because
us
half
so?
the team is probably like Downfall and the other half's probably like Quarantine. But I think I would not be concerned for Silent Purge and Quarantine. They performed exceptionally well, and Scorpio just makes crazy moves. He almost capped Lobochem in the championship.
Yeah, true.
Knocked him
You know
out.
what might be mad is that we've seen great performance for beginners so far on Suburbia so far this season. So much so the boss fight in Fear banned it out against them. So will we actually see that pick against Silent Purge? Would it be an odd pick against a team like Silent Purge, who I'd say...
Damn, son.
What?
You were right. It's
Oh,
Suburbia.
it's Suburbia?
Holy
Oh,
heck,
I'm surprised they would pick that against someone like Silent Purge. But maybe not. Obviously, they know something we don't because they've, like I 100% so far. They've seemed very dominant on this map this season.
I love being dominated by beginners.
Wow.
There. You know what I'm really excited for, Radarhead? 1.8 next week.
It's going to be a big deal. It's going to change everything.
Get hyped. You're looking at the next level of competitive shooters. We're talking.
I bet you're going to have to do the names because, unfortunately, a script I'm running to help you. I can't stop.
All right then, I'll do that for you. Just hope I get the teams right. I mean, like, I don't know who's what, but I'm gonna guess.
Marsok is Silent Purge, and
okay.
beginners.
Would that mean that Marsok chose that?
I mean, that
like,
was
as in
that's interesting because Volk actually. So what happens usually is the defending team, the team that picks the map, does not get a choice of where they start. So usually what you would see happen is the team that didn't pick the map will choose Volk because it gives you a defensive advantage. What we're seeing here actually is the opposite, potentially the opposite. Either beginners chose not to choose the second map and therefore chose sides, or Silent Purge chose to play as Marsok, which is just unheard of.
Absolutely. And beginners have ended their house party. They've come outside of the building. They've come out of Small's house. They said, right, let's go. Silent Purge, welcome to our map. We've trained high and low for this. We're ready.
Overcheck.
Overcheck is good.
All right, Smoyle's getting a really weird C4 out. Chucks it just gingerly to his right.
It's like, happy to die. Let's go.
So this is the south building objective.
Easily got a nice Overwatch position on the west side.
Now, I was
Upstairs
expecting
with
something
Pause, which is
crazy
fine.
out of beginners because they, I thought, chose this map. And I would have thought I was going to see some really imaginative defensive positions, but these are, again, pretty standard defensive positions. Scorpio now pushing up quietly on the inside.
Sneaky,
5 minutes,
sneaky,
15
cheeky.
in. Scorpio's in a very aggressive position.
We would say he's even snaking. Can I just say that move is patented by me, the original
snake?
OG snake? Yeah, that's right, patented.
Pucci,
I'm gonna sue him.
meanwhile,
I'm
having
suing him.
fun on the slides.
Uchi is a kid inside. Like he may sound like an old man, you know, who's a heavy smoker, but he's actually just a little child inside.
So we can see here, Silent Purge taking a cross section across the map, making sure that there's no flank availability for beginners.
Yeah.
Scorpio just putting some pre-fire on windows, but at the same time giving away his position, so Smoyles now knows that there's enemies near him. 4 minutes 30 on the clock. Beginners a little bit antsy on defense. You can see them swiveling, checking various angles, but they're confident, they're calm, they're collected. Silent Purge not pushed up at all. Yeah, still looking for an early pick, still looking for any intel they can get on the enemy position. But so far,
I just saw some
beginners-
blood smatter on Scorpio. How would that be? Oh, out comes a frag. Bit of a wide
Smoyles
one.
deciding he didn't like that tree all the way over there.
Yeah, take that tree. So the next question is Scorpio going to try and walk, like, as in shoot and walk the shots around the corner and take out Smoyles, or is he just going to kind of creep up? What's the game plan here?
What I don't understand here from Smoyles is that look at the C4. Look at the C4. What is that C4 going to do for you?
It would kill Scorpio right now.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. But Smiles doesn't have his clacker out. Instead, he's lasered in, waiting for Scorpio to round that corner.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because, I mean, in theory, Scorpio could corner in the blind spot of Smalls right now and nail him.
Meanwhile, the rest of Silent Purge pushing into Middle Mansion, Pause, and Peasley holding Middle Mansion, Don Patron and Hoochie getting smokes ready. Getting grenades ready, get intel ready. Scorpio
I
on the corner.
can't not look at, like, the Scorpio small situation. This constant little back and forth edging
Pause
is
aggressively
doing
looking
it.
for Hoochie.
Oh, Scorpio comes around and
Middle
Smalls nails him.
Smiles down Scorpio, picks him up. Did he get him with the C4?
No, he just shot him in the face.
I heard C4 go off.
I think he just detonated that as a secondary, just in case the secondary was there. Pause looking for the sneak. Pause peeks Dobbertron, takes him down.
Wow, Pause just clearing up in Middle Mansion now. 2 Silent Purge versus 5 beginners. Beginners not breaking a sweat.
Yep. You would think this map being such a popular pub lobby map that, you know, more contested, but oh, what a shot from MorpT. The head of Icy Woods explodes into a million pieces, and he's on the floor crying in real life now.
That leaves the Flossie and RPT both stacked up, both looking to defend each other.
Oh,
Beginner's
Flossie
defense
almost gets
still
pause.
tight.
That was really tight. Pause just narrowly avoiding the shots. RPT now. Is he going to peek in the window? He does peek in the window. Not quite getting an angle on Pause. If he holds, he might. There's Pause there, but he misses it.
No, I don't think Pause peeked around that corner. I don't think he would have picked anything up there. What this now leaves, though, is Beginners with no map control. I take it back. Smoils now applying pressure on the east side, finding
the
Flossie.
classic slide rotation. So, like, a lot of times you see as the game wears on and defenders know that if they've got a slight advantage and they know how many kills left and they start getting intel about where you are, you will see a defender walk up that slide in the playground and just pick people running around the middle. You are never safe in that backyard as an attacker. Or defender, for that matter. RPT, the last guy left. Pause starting to push him now. They know he's there. Smalls takes him up on the slide again. That naughty slide.
Nothing crazy different about Beginners' defensive approach. Just good control, good rotations there from Smoils, and good aggression from Pause. Really just breaking down Silent Purge's attack.
Yeah, there was no doubt about it. I mean, they were in complete control. Some nice picks from RPT and some good movement. You could see RPT and his colleague, but I mean, I just wasn't feeling the pressure from SP. Although I could see it, there was a moment where it was almost there with the smokes in middle and like Smoils and Scorpio kind of facing off, but it just never arrived.
So Beginners then taking round one. Again, I'm confused how they were on defense, but it'll be revealed later on tonight. Post
Do you think they chose that side?
I mean, it kind of seems
I really
obvious,
can't
right?
say for certain. I think they must have chosen to go as Marsok, which astounds me, but there you go. Here we go into round two, map 2. Beginners haven't taken map 1. 4-2. And leading against Silent Purge on map 2.
Right. Big inners. The party's now over. Flying over. The party's now over for Silent Purge. Oh my word, says Uchi.
What's coming out from Uchi as they move into defensive positions.
Free fire coming out.
Doesn't find anyone as Beginners spread out. Take an aggressive position in the middle, which I really like, but could be easily punished with an early grenade.
Yeah, grenade at 45, like at 15 seconds in, could absolutely dominate them right now.
Now, Killer's in a really, really risky spot for grenades. Meanwhile, we see that Silent Purge have taken up similar-ish defensive positions to Beginners.
This could be the end for Pause. He comes around the corner. No, Don does not have an angle on him. I got overexcited and I apologize.
Something his wife hears a lot. Woohoo! Yep, I went there. Zing!
We're gonna need an ambulance and a burn unit, please.
Oof. Anyway, so what do you think this is? Quarantine? So what we can see here is that both teams have taken similar-ish positions to what we saw in the last round. It's almost a reverse, except that
there's a chance. Flossie's watching the slide. Pause is looking for the angle. The lasers are... There it is! Pause gets the shot off from the kitchen area of the middle mansion. Nicely done.
Actually, can I just take you back? Beginner's defense was weird last round. I just realized the objective position was nowhere near any of the defensive positions. I love it.
Well, I think they took very forward defensive positions. They didn't sit back on the objective. And I like that, because that means, again, you deny more territory.
I've done a bit of a 50-50. They got 3 aggressive defensive positions, then 2 near the objective. So they're not kind of taking that forward map control like Beginners did. However, they've still got the early pick, leaving them with the advantage of 5 versus 4. Overcheck.
The overs are in the green, Radarhead.
Roger,
C4 coming out, finding nobody. A bit of an overzealous C4 coming out from DeFlossy. And Killinger laughs himself another few meters forward.
So what do you think? Do you think Silent Purge are going to be flustered from the map, losing their map kick against Beginners in map 1? Or do you think they're going to bounce back? They've just lost round 1 as well in map 2.
I don't think they're going to be too flustered, but I think Beginners have something special for them on this map. I think this is a map that Beginners have been preparing a lot this season. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people with how good they are on it. Welcome back to Suburbia, population beginners. Oh, shot coming out, and Woods takes down Don
Icy Woods
very
finds
smoothly.
Don Patron. Great pickup from Icy Woods. Don Patron caught on the flat foot there.
Whoa, a good frag coming out. Would have absolutely killed UC Death.
But, I mean, that's a popular defensive position that grenade hit. Nobody there, and it just about misses Hoochie.
Yeah, but shout out to my boy UC Death, because he is what I like to call a Suburbia trash panda. Because this is where he lives.
This is my house. So
Suburban
now it's
trash
4
panda.
versus 4 with Don Patron being picked up by Icy Woods. That Silent Purge defense still holding strong. They still have 2 in the middle mansion and 2 playing defensive area on the actual objective, or near enough to the objective to shut down a direct push. 2 minutes 40 left on the clocks. Beginners looking for picks.
Uchi in a very curious spot,
different.
the way he's just like prone there. It's interesting.
What I love about Suburbia, that in my opinion, it's a very different map to Bazaar. Yes, it's still CQB aspect, but it's a much tighter, smaller map with less avenues of attack. Which means you either have to be a lot more creative.
Smoke's coming out all over the place now. Flossie goes down. Beginners maybe about to push upstairs and take down Scorpio.
Beginners with the advantage now with 4 players up, but they still have to converge across the road, facing
Yeah.
Hoochie and RPT.
Scorpio's offering a lot of potential danger to them as he creeps around upstairs with a bloody LMG. There's the shot. Oh, trades with Killinger.
Trade, leaving a 3 versus 2 situation with Beginners in complete control of the middle mansion. With 1 minute 50 left on the clock, they can challenge those defensive positions very aggressively with a dominating position.
All the time in the world.
The question really is, do Beginners have any grenades left? Because if they do, they can really... Wow, Icy Woods. Reaction
That's a
second
nice-
to none, punishing RPT for RPT.
That shot that Icy was just made on it, like, it's just so smooth. I mean, you know what? Beginners have just advanced layer by layer. They've just peeled this defense away like an onion. They've just taken more and more of the map, pushed their way in.
Peasley trying to get the pre-shots on Hooch. Hooch failing to get a refire.
It's a flashbang.
Flash.
Hoochie is now blind. Buying
Smiles.
valuable time for Smalls to push up. He senses it though. He sees Smalls. Doesn't
Smiles
matter.
finding Hoochie. Hoochie missed his shots, but it was still a 3 versus 1 situation. That puts Beginners 2-0 up on map 2, having taken
Well
map 1
played.
4-2.
Gotta say that was super impressive from Beginners. Just so methodical and tight.
Do you see like that Smoils play? I mean, the other 2, his teammates held the lines.
Yep.
Smoils flashbang goes out. He charges up exactly right. That's exactly how you do a push on top of you. Too many people I find throw flashbangs and they do nothing about it.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's a
Not
flashbang.
Smiles.
You use it to reposition. You use it to attack, but you don't just throw it out there for fun. That's not what it's for. It's not a firework. Use your damn flashbangs, people.
It's flashy.
Flashing. I'm pretty sure we turn that into a meme. We get some flashing going on here.
It's really hard to see it on a map this small, but it is so methodical. Like you said, like an onion, just stripping away layer after layer after layer as they push in on the objective slowly. Fine, then all the Smiles have across
SP
the road,
we're just shoving dollar bills into the beginners lines.
I mean, SP did a sterling job of that defense, but they just, I mean, there wasn't enough rotation. They held static lines, and arguably they didn't do anything wrong. I just feel like Beginners did a lot right. As we go into round 3, map 2, 2-0 up for Beginners. Silent Purge.
Lots of smoke's coming out from Silent Purge off the bats. The Italian flag is in the air with the red and white and green. Someone's
check.
getting their spaghetti bolognese tonight. A flash comes out.
Overcheck.
Over is good. We are gold. We are in the green.
All right, we see Silent Purge taking a very, very dominant area in the playground.
This is the Silent Purge I know. Whoa, bodies flying everywhere.
Smiles. Great push from Hoochie.
Oh my god.
Opening the entire map. The cap is potentially open right now. Peasley finds Scorpio.
Oh my god, the Flossie. Whoa, good push.
Patron takes down Killinger. Killinger only down Don Patron. That means Don Patron is reservoir. Peasley comes in. The double taps in. RPT takes down Peasley. That means that it's a 3-on-1 situation. The Flossie's capping.
The cap
I repeat,
is open.
The Flossie is capping.
The Flossie going for the cap.
What a cap!
Unbelievable turnaround from Silent Purge. Purge.
What a fantastic play from Silent Purge. Confident, strong,
That's
effective.
the Silent Purge we expect. That's the Silent Purge. And now violence, speed, momentum. Bloody hell.
Silently. Although
I
there
need
was
to
nothing silent about it. There was bullets everywhere.
There was smoke and bullets and everything. But you know what? I need a cigarette after that.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
That so far for me was easily the play of the night. Silent Purge showing they might be down, but they are not out. And now they are back in with a defensive advantage on the same objective.
Hit the play replay instead of save replay.
That's unfortunate.
No one's gonna see. But yeah, I gotta say, play of the night, definitely. But you know what? As flashy as that was, beginners have been so goddamn consistent. Just methodical and consistent. That was flashy and awesome, versus the methodical and consistent plays that we've seen so far. Beginners. That I think just perfectly encapsulates the dichotomy of difference in the play styles of these two teams, which is what I absolutely love to see.
I mean, one of the things I've always liked about Onward is that it's something that rewards different play styles, and it allows different play styles. There is not one dominant style of play that guarantees you victory or even gives you that greater advantage. Like I said, there's very few teams that take beginners' slow, methodical approach.
Yeah.
And the game doesn't punish it. The game doesn't punish a fast approach either. It rewards.
What about your approach to the game? You know,
My approach to the game is just to be angry with everyone until we win.
and also miss.
Yes, and I miss a lot. So I get angry at other people for doing a bad job, and I miss all my shots. But I am open. I own my missing. Anyway,
Okay,
as we go into
three guys from
round
Silent
4,
Purge pushing the right side of this building. Where's the pre-fire? Why hasn't anyone died yet? What's going on?
Because the point is that both pre-fire has counter pre-fire. So nobody wants to be that guy caught in the pre-fire or counter pre-fire. As we see now, Pos picking up Hoochie, Icy Woods picking up the Flossy, LPT picking up Woods. 3 defenders left up now.
Wow.
So it's round 3, 2 for 2, map 2.
Gotta say, that was some really good plays in the opener there. Like, I mean, I thought, honestly, I thought who was it again? I thought Pause was gonna get taken down there, but he got the defender. Oh my god, Killinger picking up
Overcheck.
RPT immediately. We're growing. We're golden.
Wow, that
We're
leaves
growing.
2 defenders now against 4 attackers. Silent Purge on the absolute back foot. They cannot allow a cap to go in. If cap goes in now, it's map over, and that will mean beginners take the entire set.
Yeah.
And the entire round. That gives
The
Silent Purge a lot to
momentum
play
that
for.
the momentum that SP had going into this round, I think, has bled off a little bit. But I mean, it's not
we've
over
seen-
yet. There's 2 of them left. They can pull back.
Absolutely, and 2 expert players, Don Patron, the team captain, and Scorpio, the queen of Bizarre.
Yep.
So what we saw from beginners was early momentum to hold the middle of the map and great initial picks, looking for potential areas where the defenders would be and finding 3 of them.
Dawn has been made by Pause up on the slide. What a great angle. He has to get the hell out of there before a frag lands on his ass.
You can see the Peasley in the bushes looking for that angle. Don is low enough to escape though. He's able to reposition.
He's creeping out of there.
Pre-fire
He's
coming
so
out on where
fortunate.
Don was, but Don is gone.
Dawn has slipped away into the night. I love this position. Have you ever seen anyone do this? They sit in the flower. Like, it's really good concealment. But, I mean,
Yep.
you will eat a bullet if anybody even knows to pre-fire that, which I've seen beginners do.
It's great. What we're seeing here now is beginners doing their plays where they push up methodically, slowly, looking for any picks. And I'm saying methodically a lot tonight, and I'm not going to say it anymore.
I think it's it's an important word to have in your vocabulary when you're talking about a team like beginners.
I think you're absolutely right.
Like, if you were talking about global cam, what words would you use?
Vivacious, curvy.
Okay, if we can just put aside auto for 1 sec, what else would you say?
I'd say the coordinated, aggressive, dynamic, and terrifying.
Yeah, and what other words could you? Bad sniper when you're thinking about Mike Crook. And,
No,
and...
I'd say the best sniper is what I would
No, that's you're talking about boss fight.
Anyway,
You're confused.
back to beginners Silent Purge. We can see now it's beginners o'clock as they look for any extra picks they can get. They have a good kill count. They knew 2 defenders are left, and the defenders know that they've got at least 1 kill. Scorpio again holding those stairs. He was able to trade out with Killing last time he held this exact same position. But I mean, a trade out here means that leaves one defender against 3 attackers. So that does not put Silent Purge in a good position. Smokes now raining in from every direction. Smoils coming out with pre-fire, the pressure building as they know the attacker must be imminent.
And whoa! Scorpio's not wasting any time, but unfortunately he puts his gun away at the wrong moment.
Dawn Patrol pushing up to the objective, smokes all over it. He can't allow for a cap. He comes pre-firing into the cap position. No one there. Meanwhile, 3 beginner players holding.
He's just tossing out any utility he gets his hands on, enjoying the smoke while it lasts. Peasley, Smoils about to finish him off, and there it is. Smoils once again
making the right move there. It might seem suicidal to anyone who doesn't understand the context of the play. He moved out with no cover straight on top of the objective, but what it meant was that it would make the capping potential of beginners almost non-existent. Because once again, if you were able to get the tablet out and memorize the 7-digit code, then enter the 7-digit code within range of the uplink, you get 2 points rather than only 1 point if you were able to kill the enemy team. So what that basically meant that Dawn Patrol knew that he wasn't going to, knew that he probably wasn't going to hold around, had no idea that Scorpio had got a kill, so he didn't know how many enemy were left. He saw the smokes all over the objective and made the right call to go in almost suicidally onto the objective.
You know what I'm really excited to see? This objective now, the upstairs middle mansion objective. Are we going to see the violence, speed, momentum coming out from SP again?
I love this objective. I love this objective, and I love the way beginners play this objective. I'd say yes. I'd say this is... Hoochie and Scorpio are famous for attacking this lightning speeds. Beginners are going to be ready for it, though, so that's the trade-off. A team that knows how to do it against a team who knows how to stop it.
Alright, I'll be going in the car.
I'll never stop. We are golden as we move into the first round of Silent Purge's redemption.
I like where you went with that.
Let's see what they can do. We're watching them
Round
closely now.
5 now, beginners with Silent Purge. Silent Purge, if they get an uplink, means they win the map, taking it to 1 map each. If beginners defense holds, that means they win the series, having taken the first map and the second map. Beginners rushing now to the opening objective. Silent Purge also rushing
going
in.
straight in the back door.
Going straight in. Here it comes. Straight engagement.
Oh wow! Immediate murder, suicide, bloodbath.
And Scorpio. Immediately, only 2 attackers left on Silent Purge. It's looking bad for them. Dawn Patrol picks up by 2 Woods, moves up, gets taken down by Pause. It's a down, not an out. DeFlossy coming in, but Pause is going to pick up the strike. Smiles finds DeFlossy, and it's over. Beginners
Just
takes
like
map 2
that.
and the series. Silent Purge aggression shut down.
Was a really good attempt. That's the series for beginners, but I mean, I gotta give it to Silent Purge. That was a really good attempt to push. I think if they exerted more control on the exterior of the middle mansion, they might have done a bit better. Thoughts, Radarhead?
I don't know. I don't know that that attack was ever going to work. Beginners have played against this attack before, not necessarily against Silent Purge, but in other teams that do similar things, i.e., once again, I hate to say it, but boss fight, while Hooch and Scorpio were on boss fight, that was one of the key plays on this objective. Now, interestingly, they didn't rock a shield onto that attack, which might have changed things up had they had a shield leading the way. It may not have. We might have seen anything different happening. The key thing is here, the beginners were ready for it. They knew that it was a potential attack, and they reacted exactly accordingly. Now, what's interesting is I saw Killinger throw an early, a grenade early in the round. I don't know if it was too early, and I don't think it had any effect. And it probably wasn't early. That's I'd be hard pressed to imagine anything like that happening from Killinger. But regardless,
He's far too precise for that.
Great opening from beginners on that defense of that objective. Exactly what they needed to do to hold the center ground. Had they taken even a step back or chosen different directions, Silent Purge would have been up there and capping, and we would have seen the map go to Silent Purge. Silent Purge now losing map 1 and 2 to 4-2 to beginners. These beginners have taken the series, but Silent Purge still playing for that very, very important MMR. So if they can limit the damage and take map 3, it means that the MMR they'll lose for this, for losing the series, will be minimized. However, if they lose the 3rd map as well, of course, that means that they will lose even more MMR.
That's what map is gonna be picked up.
Silent Purge, let me think. Silent Purge, possibly Downfall.
Oh, I mean, they did beat beginners on it before last season, right?
I don't recall.
I have something in my mind that tells me they might have. Let me go check. I need to know. This is haunting me.
I would be shocked if they choose Quarantine. I'd be surprised if they choose Tanker. Cargo was banned out. So for me, it feels like either Snowpeak or Downfall. And I don't feel like they feel that comfortable on Snowpeak. And it's Downfall, and I love being
Oh, you are good.
I'm good. Am I good or am I good?
You're real good.
So good.
Okay, for the record, last time they played Downfall, it looks like it was in March in Season 9, and Beginners took it 4-2.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed, my friend.
Again, I apologize, Viper, but I'm unable to do the one thing you need me to do.
You have one job, Radarhead.
I have one job, and I'm incapable of doing it.
In the remarkable
jobs, in fact.
complexity of
Pleasing
this,
my
of
wife.
this entire program, you have one
Pleasing
job.
my wife and changing the team names, and I fail at both of them.
That's a great idea.
So, for people who are new to the game, or new to watching the casts of the game, maybe you don't even have the game, maybe you're just enjoying this semi-good cast from the Lonely Viper and Radarhead. Downfall is a much larger open map, which, again, goes against... it's the yin and the yang to something like Suburbia, really. It's a map that really, really allows sniper players and really enforces map control. There's lots of buildings that you can hide in, hold ambush angles. And it's not. It doesn't tend to be a map that you see go quickly like we saw in Suburbia. We saw Silent Purge doing a very, very quick cap to take that round 4 or round 4 that we saw in Suburbia. We would not see a play like that, or almost definitely wouldn't see a play like that on a map like Downfall, because there is so much ground to traverse.
Here's my question for you, Radarhead. Who is the designated marksman on both of these teams? Snipes. Who does the work?
I'm at a loss. I thought Silent Purge were home. Beginners, Marsoc. I could be wrong. I guess I thought Silent Purge were the home team tonight. I guess maybe Beginners are the home team. I feel like an idiot.
All I want to say is this is your fault.
So what's interesting on this map, a Downfall, again, like I said, it really, is a sniper-approved map. Players like the Lonely Viper and Mike Crook excel on a map like this because they're able to exert map dominance with the sniper skills. I don't believe the Beginners or Silent Purge have a sniper of that caliber, or even a sniper at all. What they do have is coordination, timing, and effectiveness. They lack, I think, is snipers. Thoughts?
Mostly prayers, in fact, for those out there who believe Mike Crook is a better sniper than me.
Okay, that was a bit of a segue. I appreciate that I may have damaged your ego by not just saying Lonely Viper is a great sniper and he's the best at sniping on Downfall.
Well, you know who's a good sniper, actually? I was watching a match the other night. Somebody... I can't remember. You know, it's really hard to remember anybody good at sniping apart from myself. So let's move on.
Yeah. But are there any snipers on either of these teams right now? Or any team, anyone you know that tends to play sniper on this map? Do we expect DeFlossy to rock a shield, for instance, when he's on Marsoc? No team in Silent Purge are actually on defense on this objective.
So I love seeing teams do unconventional things like rocking shields on Downfall, and I think it definitely has its place and it's underutilized in some senses. But so what do I think? Smoils with a 4x on his LMG is pretty tight. Peasley, I don't think I've ever seen Peasley sniping. I've seen Killinger pick up a 12x once or twice.
Fair enough. Killinger a very
Woods,
versatile player. I've seen him rock shields, I've seen him rock LMGs, I've seen him rock snipers. So this objective, some of the keys to checking this objective is this building you see here, Viper, if you were to cut to. See, this building here is often known as Middle Hotel, and it gives great defensive angles for the objective, but also gives great attack angles on the objective if you're able to take it from the enemy. It allows you to exert control on the the south side of the objective. The second potentially most important point is if you cut to my position here, Viper is what's also known as Market to many players. Now, this allows you to exert control on the north side of the map. Again, very important for defense. Less important for attack, but you have to clear it out as an attacker if you wish to attack from the north or from the east. It's a hard objective potentially to hold. A lot of teams favor doing a very hard push on one side rather than splitting the team. Beginners and Silent Purge, I believe, both like to do very, very hard pushes on one side. What this means is you wipe out all defenders on a sector of defense, leaving the defenders on the opposite side of the sectors alive. This allows you to get a cap in, as all the enemy team, some of the enemy defenders are still alive. I think you also heard Hoochie's very.
This will be an hour of my life I never get back. I love it. So what you're seeing here are defensive smokes which prevent Marsoc team spawning in the northeast from pre-firing anybody moving into this building here, which is commonly known as Brothel. This won't be an issue for beginners right now. Instead, they're going to do the southeast pre-fire, which will allow the likes of Peasley to get an angle on anybody crossing from mid-hotel.
Again,
and possibly
this
even
map
anybody going
allows such long lines of sight and angles on objectives and buildings that you have to be so careful, both as the attacker and defender, when moving in the open. So at the start, what you often see is the Marsoc team, the team in blue, team in green, should I say, in the khakis, or the blue writing as you're watching, take positions where they can get long sight lines of the areas where the defenders spawn to try and catch out any defenders running to a defensive spot.
And what I'd tell the viewers right now is grab yourself a coffee and settle in, because this is going to be a long one. Both teams take up very static positions, and beginners will take their sweet time.
I like beginners' positions here. They've taken a complete sweep on the east side of the map. They have height advantage. They have building cover. They're looking for picks, looking for intel. Silent Purge holding relatively tight lines. They've not tried to flank. They're holding tight defensive area on the objective, and I like it a lot.
I think we should call this play Toit.
Overcheck. Roger, roger, danger, dodger.
Nice love taps coming out from somebody in beginners. I think Smoils in the Marsoc buildings.
So we can see. Look at this stacked beginners push in the north. I love it. 4 players. Smokes down. They're doing suppression on that side, but it's like a false out suppression. It's the kind of suppression that makes you want to look in that direction, but actually you don't look in that direction because like, oh, they're just trying to get me to look that way. Actually, that's where the attack is actually coming from.
It's interesting to see as well. Killinger spotted Don Patron, exchanged a bit of fire, called it a position, and the team's beginning to move. Don now not looking that way anymore, knowing that he's been compromised. But what that also means is simply that exchange of fire and the calling of Don's position means Don has to give up that angle, at least for now. He may peek it again, but he's going to hold off for the time being.
So DeFlossy and Scorpio and Hoochie in key positions to stop this north push. Meanwhile, Smoils, again, solo artist on a band of legends.
Just want to point out, Hoochie's in a great position in the dark room of market. Like, I mean, that gives him such map presence.
It really does.
One thing I also think we mentioned, you hear a lot of shots firing if you're new to watching these casts, but something that is really rewarding for teams, and something I suppose any good unit will do as they try to move across maps with wide open spaces and particular nests with great fields of fires, they'll just automatically suppress and pre-fire those windows which provide key oversight in order to A, deny the enemy the opportunity to peek, B, to kill anybody who is peeking, and C, just to provide overall suppression and reduce their risks as they move, which tends to be quite effective.
You're absolutely right. And when you take fire, you kind of assume that the enemy knows you're there, even though it's just the enemy might just be firing into a window, assuming no one's there, but they're just putting that fire in there just in case. But as a defender, you can't take that for granted. You have to assume you've been made. So it makes you much more, sensitive to any noise and makes you much likely to peek. Now we have a rotation from Icy Woods in the open right now. That suppression, that aggression allows Icy Woods to pass into the north, which is super important for beginners.
Oh, but Hoochie does take down Pause.
The same thing though. But he's been made Pause. Not in a position to be double tapped either, so he's fallen below Hoochie's sight lines. Pause is resolute.
Here's my question, right? Do you think beginners would play this aggressively with all the pre-fire and moving the open if they're against a team with a designated marksman?
No, I don't. Well, maybe, I don't know. Icy Woods finds Hoochie in the dark room on a perfect angle as he transitions to the north. That leaves Pause resible now, killing her.
Icy Woods in a critical spot, taking shots from DeFlossy, but he's not too bothered.
Now, what's key here is that Pause is resible and no one on the defensive side has any line of sight on Pause. Icy Woods able in the north to exert pressure. Killinger comes in for the res, gets Pause up. It is now 5 versus 4 as beginners make the north push. These Smoils have transitioned to the middle of the map.
Flossie still putting some pot shots off. I think Flossie's gonna possibly eat a frag from Pause or somebody. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in all.
It's worth noting that Dom Patron and RPT are in a position that allows the cap to happen if Scorpio and DeFlossie get pushed down and Killinger and Pause rush the objective.
Yeah, Scorpio can definitely interfere with that, but I think
Flossie
Flossie's about to see Killinger. He does see him. It's taken way too many shots. He almost died.
Killinger goes down. That leaves 4 versus 4 as Peasley looking for the refrag. Pause. Doing exactly what Killinger did, but wasn't penny for it. Scorpio running out into the open now. Finds Pause. Icy Woods finds Scorpio. Peasley and DeFlossie find each other. That leaves it 2 versus 2. Actually, 2 versus 1.
Objective's open. Dompatron's not looking. Oh, he does get seen, though. He gets wounded. RPT's nobody's stopping this cap.
Smiles could have capped that, but he gets his position away. Dom Patron or RPT not looking at the objective. Almost dropped the ball. If it wasn't for Smiles putting down that pre-fire, that would have been a cap to beginners, and that would have been such a drop from Silent Purge there. I don't really understand what happened in the middle mansion, but round 1 goes Silent Purge as the defense holds.
That middle mansion can often be such a critical defensive location for that objective. As you said in the opening before the match started, like taking that, or at least denying their ability to exert pressure or control over the objective can be such a huge factor in winning. That's why I think beginners took the approach they did, because if, for example, Peasley had been successful in uprooting the defender there, I think it was Flossie, he would have been able to approach the objective with cover from that middle mansion or middle hotel, and he wouldn't have been threatened by it, and it could have been a cap.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I stand by my statement. If Smiles had not pre-fired as he ran that, I think the Silent Purge defenders would have been caught with with their attention diverted in the wrong direction. Really, they weren't watching the objective.
Oh, interestingly, SP have gotten the northeast spawn, which allows them to get good pre-fire angles. What are we going to see out of it? We are seeing some pre-fire coming out, but PC is going to make it into the brothel.
All over the brothel where Peasley is, but Peasley unharmed as he makes it successfully in. Silent Purge probably have no idea anyone's actually in there. They don't know if it's fake out smokes or not.
Yeah. Interestingly, by pre-firing, they've given away their spawn location. We haven't seen beginners take an aggressive position in the south of the map. They've just sort of taken the traditional positions that you normally see. So, 2 in market, down here, one up, one
first
down.
Point, overcheck. Second point, as I was just explaining at the start of the map, the 2 key defensive buildings here, beginners highlighting my point as they put 2 players in each one of those positions that I said was key to holding and attacking this objective. The fortifying the defensive positions, the holding key areas, not spreading out, does give them good lines of sight, but it does make the defense crackable. If the attackers are able to crack just one of those forts and they put all the momentum into it, that does leave the objective open. It leaves either the south or the north fort unable potentially to counterattack, as we almost saw in that last round.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the defensive layout. A similar approach is being taken, where I suppose the only difference is we're not seeing a wide south push from Silent Purge. It seems to be all very concentrated in this northeast approach through what we call red car approach. But many teams, east red, west red, red car.
So what I love about this game, if you cut to my angle right now, there's nothing being said, but there's coordination here. There's silent coordination between players who are used to playing together. I love it. I just love seeing these. They're all holding lines. They're all checking angles. They're all covering each other. There's that. You only get this from teamwork, and you don't get this in necessarily any other VR shooters.
No.
This level of coordination, teamwork, and reliance on your teammates.
I can't wait to see what people in the Quest are going to do with this game. I think we're going to see some really fun stuff.
It's going to be amazing.
Can you imagine
the new influx of new players learning all these ropes?
So many fresh meat kills for the sniper. Now, as we look at Hoochie getting basically free transit up into the northwest hills, could give him massive control.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that beginners allowed that to happen. They've got multiple players who could have seen that and stopped it, but I guess they are holding tidal lines and checking more towards the east and the north rather than the north proper and transitions. That's
beginner's defensive layout is what I would call an ambush style layout, which is designed to counter the threat of a sniper, which I don't think SP really have.
No, but you check.
Oh, pause about to get picked by Hoochie. Here's the shot.
Wow,
Any second now. Any
Hoochie doesn't
second
see
now.
it. Hoochie just doesn't
He's
see
gonna
it.
see it. He sees it. He'll see it.
He doesn't see it. I'm really shocked that Pause is still alive. Although Pause isn't as visible as we think he is. There's only the front of him really sticking out. The rest of him is behind a similar colored wardrobe. Hoochie in a commanding
Everybody
position
tweet
here.
Hoochie for his massive oversight today. His Twitter, I presume, is Hoochie at
How has he
Tarlons.
not seen Pause? You're right. At this point, as I'm watching Hoochie,
My God, that's a freebie if I've ever seen one.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't been made either, because it's not that he's seen him and not taken the shot, because if he had, he would have radioed it in, but he's not radioed any
This is
intel.
why you send a sniper into this position, because he wouldn't miss that. A good old 12x.
Or she, or they, depending on how they want to
or
self-denominate.
it. Let's not assume anything. So
Well,
Hoochie's
in
made the
such a great
transition
position here.
completely.
I see Woods could spot him. Smoils could spot him. Pods could spot him, but realistically,
Nobody
Hoochie
spotted
now
him. He's made a
commanding.
great transition.
If you cut to my camera right now, oh wow, the smoke comes out. Time to cover it.
Oh, but he...
Smoils picks up Hoochie after all that. Hoochie, great flank, taken down by a great holding angle from Smoils.
But I mean, this is what I mean. It's a good counter to. Hold on, pick some smalls though. It's a good counter to the sniper risk. But I mean, a
With
team
all these
is.
smokes raining in. Sorry to interrupt you. Pause. Finding Dom Patron as Dom Patron down Smiles, but Smiles is going to get res. Hoochie able to call it in. RPT not capitalizing on this intel that he might be receiving. Pause returning to his position. Pause picking up RPT. Wow, Pause is on fire.
Pause
There's
is
only
on
two
fire.
effective attackers now against a full 5-man sweep.
I mean, that's the thing about this defensive layout is that
Scorpio hoping for the best as he charges out to the objective. Meanwhile, both forts had sight lines on that exact attack route.
yeah. I mean,
Flossie
that's the
now,
thing
solo
about
attacker.
the defensive layout the beginners have is it's going to force a close confrontation and ideally put the advantage in favor of the defender unless the attacker has a sense of what they're doing and can kind of counter it with smokes and breaching tools.
58 seconds left on the clock. 5 beginners players up. The
The
Flossie
Flossie.
does not really have any options. Smiles silencing Hoochie, doing something we all wish we could do. I mean, getting a double tap. I mean, it's great to be able to get the angle for a double tap. Killing it now, looking, could spot the Flossie, spots the Flossie. He's the solo attacker now with his position made. The Flossie's position has come out unattainable. 30 seconds left on the clock against 5 defenders, all with sight lines on his attack route. Killing her puts an end to that.
Rest in peace,
Beginner's
Flossie.
defense holding with, well, I'd say flawless victory, but Smalls did get downed.
So, interestingly enough, I really like the defensive layout of beginners. It's designed to, ambush and force that close quarter fight, and it worked perfectly. We did see a very obvious hole in it that you could see that Hoochie was able to just completely flank and walk around the map. Only that he didn't use that effectively. I think it could have gone a little bit differently.
I don't disagree. Pause would have been taken out. If Smiles then was taken out by Dom Patron, there was no res from Pause. Pause isn't dead. Pause wouldn't have picked up Dom Patron and RPT. And Hoochie would have been alive. He would have had such strength on the north side, unfortunately. And this tries a leg of time. That did not occur, and Beginner's held.
Yep. So,
As we go now into round 3 for Silent Purge on defense, on a very, very similar defensive objective. Similar location, similar defensive spots. The only difference being really that you really have to take this north building, which we can see Silent Purge smoking the heck out of.
it was yeah. So, again,
Meanwhile, Beginner's not in a great position to put any early pressure on, which will allow a transition to that north position, north defensive area by Dom Patron, the team captain of Silent Purge.
watching as beginners start to stage up again, we're seeing constant, like, I suppose it's due to the way the objectives are laid out. Like this objective known as market objective, the last objective known as the van objective. I mean, it's not surprising to see these approaches being commonly used where teams are pushing this red car approach because it offers the most cover and safety for the attacker.
Yeah. I like Silent Purge on this defense is that they do something that most teams don't, and they put more than a few people into the market building. I know probably we might be the only team in the entire world to call it market. So this building that you see, Hoochie, RPT, and Deflossian. That building there. Most teams don't tend to put 3 players in it. Not Silent Purge though. Sometimes they might put 5 in it. I love that they just do crazy things like this on this objective.
Silent
Is it
Purge is
I don't know, it
crazy.
could be Silent Purge. The
Hooch
crazy
is
team.
crazy, but now Silent Purge is also crazy.
So just for note, I believe someone has bugged out off the minimap. I believe Peasley is now no longer showing on the minimap, or it could be no, maybe it. Peasley is no longer showing on the minimap for me. I don't know if he's showing on the
I've
minimap for you.
fixed
Viper.
that. Yep, I've refreshed the minimap and he is now visible.
Oh, excellent. How do you do that? It doesn't matter. Actually, focusing back here now, we can see that there are multiple beginner players pushing into the south area as they transition, with a single beginner players, Icy Woods instead of Smoils for a change, in the north area, creating some noise, creating some distraction, pushing from the exact polar opposite for the rest of his team. Check out Smoils' position though. So we've got Smoils in the absolute south and Icy Woods in the absolute north. And the great sight lines on the entire map. However, the position that Smoils has taken means that should he become the last player or one of the last players, it's going to be very hard for him to actually get to the objective and put any real pressure on.
Yeah. Is he rocking the 4X on his, no, he's not, he's using a holo. So he must have like a 2080 Ti dialed in max distance. Look at this move from Killinger as he snakes across, just pre-firing those threatening windows to Flossy, RPT putting out shots.
But look at this position from Icy Woods, causing all the distraction as he puts pre-fire on multiple windows. Forces you to look north, forces you to think that the real attack might be coming from the north, when really the real attack is coming from the south. Overcheck.
They're golden.
So one thing I love about beginners is that they do work tightly as a team, but they have these great positions where they really want that intel. They value intel so highly. They value distraction techniques as well, obviously.
And yet, I haven't seen a drone coming out. Whoa. Killinger accidental discharge, almost wiping out Peasley. The rotation. So
Again,
I just want to point out, beginners did a lot of suppression on DeFlossy's position on that lower market window before they moved up here, and it's worked because DeFlossy's afraid to peek, and they've given them that pressure they need.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's still got to be able to stop a cap if he's still alive from that area. Meanwhile, you check out Scorpio, 1986 position. That gives him great sight lines on the south.
Whoa, shots coming out. And Killinger's been made, specifically Killinger. I love that. Specifically, someone calls out Killinger's position. Is Scorpio
So
going to be able to convert
arguably,
it?
Viper, I know you said that they didn't bring a drone, but I don't know that a drone on a map this big is that actually that effective. There's lots of areas to cover with a drone. RPT finds Pause.
RPT gets pause.
Pause is resable. Pause able to bring out the intel on RPT's exact position, killing
Gets
against
res
the res.
anyway, though.
I always find, in my opinion, that the Marshawk drone is more effective on medium maps, like Quarantine or Bazaar, maybe Bazaar.
Can I just point out a really cool spot from Woods right here? He's able to put pressure on poor old... Oh, he does pick up Scorpio.
Pressure on everyone, but leaving himself wide open for an angle from Icy Woods. Icy Woods punishing Scorpio for giving away his
Losing
position.
Scorpio is a pretty big hit for them, though. Like, I think that's going to really mess up their day. Flossy's been grunting in agony as the shots rain in around him, forcing him to duck his head. Beginner's right up on Silent Purge's doorstep now.
It's
They
now
just need
beginning
one hole.
as we break the 1 minute barrier, Viper.
We've broken the 1 minute seal.
players.
Beginner's creeping right up on the doorstep. Coochie gets...
Finds Icy Woods, killing a finds Don Patron. They're all over this market.
They have the window
objective.
now. Pause is sneaking in the front door. Oh my god, beginners are on cap
It's a
potential
PG.
right now. Hoochie can't stop it unless someone shoots him, and that'd be pretty dumb.
Coach is charging in now, though. Takes down one. Pause going for the cap.
Oh,
Pause unable to transfer the objective cap. Hoochie forced to be killed by Smoils.
that was impressive. That was a very, very close cap. And you know the control beginners had to prevent Silent Purge from...
But it was a great push from Hoochie as well, though. Like, a great defensive push. He stopped that cap from happening. Huchi's, read the entire situation perfectly and stopped what would have been not a game winner for beginners, but it would have put them on match point.
It's actually very impressive, Huchi's game sense, actually telling him, like, okay, we've been, like, they pushed right up on us, they've been compromised. And again, this is what was really cool about the way beginners played, is they were able to creep right up in a line, almost like a formation in a spearhead, right up to the door frame and execute an amazing breach as Paz pushed in the front door. I think Killinger shot Flossie, who was on the ground floor, and they just moved in so beautifully. God, I wish I was able to use the replay function. I'm just not trying to overcomplicate things.
You can say it.
You think inept is the right word? I mean, really?
As we go now into inept round 4 with inept Viper and radarhead.
On it now. I have a feeling. Nope, it's not the spawn I expected. It is a.
It's the same spawn the beginners got, I believe.
No.
Doesn't allow for any pre-fire on these defensive positions. Beginners rocking smokes everywhere, as they also would like to get some people into the north building.
Yeah. So again, and the reason they do this is with certain spawns, like the defenders have a very rough time taking any kind of forward positions, and that presents all kinds of issues when you want to effectively win.
Giving away the spawn. The beginner's unlikely to transition anyone aggressively.
Smoils holding a smoke through the wall just to confuse the attackers for fun.
Such dominant smokes from beginners all over the north area. Completely.
I mean, you could argue though
unnecessary,
that works both
possibly know
ways. If you didn't pre-fire, you could probably just use the smoke as cover for your own team to push up. I think though that's the point of Icy Woods holding at the low. My God. Icy Woods with a snipe on Dom Patron.
Wow, great vocal transition there.
I say that's the point of Icy Woods. He sits back here. He has, with his LMG, and he's able to just mow down anybody pushing the north. Sure, he's exposed to the south, but then that's the point of his teammates. They're watching that. They're ready. Look at those lasers.
Reaction speed's so fantastic. He's such a badass at this game. Cannot be doubted.
It was playing with boss fight that made him so great.
Yes, unarguably. However, Dom Patron was able to fall down, I'm sure, on purpose, as he took the bullets, into a position where Icy Woods was unable to confirm the kill. The point I was going to make was that RPT could get a res on Dom Patron if RPT is able to get smokes out, and Icy Woods is not paying attention in the direction, which at the moment, he still is.
Could be wrong. I think Scorpio's going for the straight in prone cap. I think he's just going to prone straight in and go for that cap.
I mean,
don't
it's not
think
going to
he
work though.
cares.
Peasley, if you cut to my camera right now, you can see Peasley's got an angle which will stop that, as does Smoils. You cannot prone cap this unless he rocks around the north side of it, in which case Killinger will be waiting for him.
Unless someone can shoot through Smalls' tablet and take him out.
So what I like about killing a spot over here on this on the defense is that he's in neither rooms, and if anyone from Silent Purge was rocking a grenade launcher, they'd be able to shut him down. Killing I mean, obviously this leaves him a bit more open, gives him less defensive from bullets, but it stops him from being taken down by...
Don does get the revive, by the way. And
Don
meanwhile,
got revived by RPT without
Scorpio
any smokes.
continues his crawl. If only he had some kind of suppression to move under, he could actually make this without getting shot. And there he goes.
Scorpio found by Smoils. He's going to get double tapped by Peasley. And there it comes.
I think Scorpio's going to win the award for gymnastics there. His backflip was exceptional.
So this is where coordination, I find Silent Purge's coordination is lacking a little bit. Wow, Paz picking up the Flossie on the top of... God, Paz is such a great player. His aim is so true all the time.
Yeah, really, really great shooter. I mean, what kills me is if Flossie had been in position for and suppressed Smoils, I mean, Scorpio could have made it across. Now,
no, Peasley still had sight lines on that cross.
I don't think Peasy was looking. I think he could have snuck up, like, straight up in there because Peasy wasn't watching that angle. And it could have... Oh, my God.
You're not wrong.
Demolishing
You're not wrong. Icy Woods picks up Dom Patron, who was res, which leaves RPT again.
Woods' position is excellent because what it does is it helps lock down the north, but a lot of teams move to that wall between North Hotel, or between Red Car and West Red. And then from there, they'll skirt down the edge, down the defilade towards that north guard shack. and they'll put a smoke through the wall to deny vision, like by a player like Killinger who'd be inside there. You see that quite frequently. Vikings especially love that tactic. But Woods' position is designed to counter that. RPT picks up a great shot on Woods. Wow. Again, timing were a little better. I think this could all come together for Silent Purge. I think Peasy might be the one to pick up the kill. Oh, never mind.
RPT finds one. I mean, RPT's got his work cut out for him. Now, interestingly, if he can shut down Killinger somehow, then he could actually get a cap. It's not beyond the realms of reckoning that he could actually get a cap here.
He's down to pistol. He's out of ammo. He's on his pistol.
Oh no.
Oh no. Peasley's gonna wipe him out if he peeks now. Missed him.
It's
He's
not Peasley that's
getting...
the problem. It's Dr. Killinger.
Yeah. He's got a silenced pistol. What a legend.
Oh, I love it.
I'm just saying I rock one of those too. They're really useful.
If RPT can somehow convert Killinger into a death, he gets a cap. But I just can't see it happening. I want it to happen so bad.
Killinger is not gonna miss this angle. He's got this lasered in, dude. He's not gonna miss this.
No, he's not, but I want him to so badly, Viper. Not because I have anything against beginners, I just want to see RPT get a cap. No! Killinger finds RPD, making it 3-1 beginners. Silent Purge with the defensive advantage. Beginners defense holding strong with only one player down.
I mean, the beginners' defenses round after round have just been so tight. So tight.
Some I even say toit.
Toitness.
So toit.
So, next round is potentially the match point for this one. Do you think it's going to go in their favor for beginners? Albert?
Now, beginners have a great attack strategy for this map. I've seen them using multiple strategies for this, all very effective. So I would not be surprised to see Silent Purge crumble. They're on match point. They're a great team. I doubt they'll crumble under the pressure, but I would not be surprised to see beginners take this because they are... I wouldn't say flawless on this objective, but they're very effective on attacking this objective. It's the southernmost objective on the map.
So what's really cool to see here is... Oh!
What's so important on this objective is the area where I'm looking at now, Viper. You have to hold that area as the defenders. If you fail to hold that area, then the attackers will take those two buildings, which gives complete control and sightline of the south.
Dr.
Obviously, when the
Killinger,
objective is in the south.
like the aggressiveness of beginners there is excellent. Like the suppression fire and the pushing was so effective. Killinger was able to get into position and take out a flanker as he pushed the middle of the map. Hoochie tried to push up towards APC, possibly going for North Bungalow. Immediately gets taken out by Killinger.
That's just greedy. I'd say that's very greedy if Hoochie try and push that far. If he'd taken South Bungalow, that would have put him in a commanding defensive position. He didn't need to push that far. If it had got there and paid off, though, I mean, game changer.
I think against the lesser team it would have worked.
Possibly. But they're not against a lesser team, or against beginners.
Yeah. Very
Still,
tough to get away
4
with that kind of
defenders
stuff.
in commanding positions. But as I was saying before, these two buildings, the Marsoc twins, as I like to call them, so important to hold the defenders, because as the defenders, it gives you sight lines across the east side of the map and across the west side of the map. It gives you commanding views everywhere. Of course, if Marsoc are able to take that from you, that puts the defenders on a back foot. It means they have to lock down the objective and doesn't allow them to really peek anywhere into the east or even into the south.
It's also worth pointing out that beginners are looking to just control this whole space. So the whole point of Small is, I would even think, is he was just the smoke to bait and distract while his teammates move up, and Pause gets a great shot onto Flossie.
Pause is just so good. Like I don't really know how else to put it. He's just really good. His shots are just nails. He just doesn't miss. Like his shots are true. He doesn't take a shot unless he thinks he can make it. And that's a really important aspect of a player in this game. And in fact, any FPS game of this nature, your first shot has to count. Because if you take that first shot and you miss, basically it means that the person you're shooting at is able to, well, not die, and then they can react and kill you, or they can react and reposition, or they can react and hide, or they can give intel back. So that first shot really is the golden shot, and you have to make it count. Hooch, by the way, still alive in the middle of the map, able to call
Golden
out
shots
intel.
aren't just given out for free, you know. What is Patron doing with a pistol exactly? Like, what is this doing?
Wow, Hooch is able to call out Peasley's position.
Smiles up in the wood. Like, this one, like, if Patron had a gun out, an actual gun, he probably would have killed Smiles. But is he out of ammo?
He can't be out of ammo.
Should he have taken an LMG?
Is he out of ammo, Viper? I'm just going to bring this to your
might be.
attention now, viewers, that Don Patron is only using a pistol. Is he out of ammo?
The worst pistol in the game, mind you, the Makarov.
Can I just
And
let
he's
you all
gonna
know,
die.
it's the worst pistol in the game as well, the Makarov. Pause, finding Don Patron.
So, interesting enough now, we see Scorpio holding the dark room on the Marsoc Towers. His days are probably numbered. Like, I don't think... Like, most teams know how to clear this pretty effectively now.
Beginners, most of all, but they don't seem to be reacting to him being there, though they are not giving themselves up to die from it either. Killinger now, rounding on it. He expects Scorpio to be there. Scorpio finds Killinger. Killinger finds Scorpio. That leaves one defender, Silent Purge. 3 points to Beginners, 1 point to Silent Purge. They have to hold. They have to hold. And the interesting thing now is RPT is nowhere near the objective. The cap
And I think
potential...
his days are numbered. There's a... Oh, there it is. I was even thinking that it'd
Peasley.
be someone else that would get him.
Wow, Peasley looking, finding him in RPT in a really odd area, but I mean, RPT in the open gets taken down, and Beginners take map 3, 4-1. That means it was 4-2, 4-2, 4-1. Silent Purge putting up a brave fight, but Beginners dominating tonight.
Absolute and utter domination.
Domination.
I mean, to be fair, look, I gotta give it to Silent Purge. Their best showing was definitely on Bazaar, where, I think Beginners definitely felt a bit more under pressure. But I mean, Suburbia was a beginner. Apart from the one round where the cap came in, that was Beginner's show.
Yeah. I mean, Silent Purge didn't do badly. Let's remind everyone that Silent Purge didn't play badly. Beginners just played better.
Yeah.
And again, there's a
that's
reason
fair.
why they've been number 1 in the EU for so long, and oftentimes, more often arguably than not, number 1 in the entire world.
Yeah. I mean, you think this season is going to be better for Beginners? You think they're going to pull back and return the crown to the EU?
I don't know. They had a rough season throughout the season, last season. I said season enough times then. And they almost took the title. Global Chem, they took it to round 5 against Global Chem. They looked like, if you ask me, like the more dominant team, but Global Chem held on and eventually won out the day. So I don't know. It's impossible to tell this early on. Beginners undefeated though in 4 games.
Yeah.
I believe this is the 4th game.
I think the bans
won
are very
in a row.
strategic as well, though. Like,
They've
Silent
beaten
Purge...
now.
Yeah, Silent Purge would have
Sorry.
been probably played... Like, I think the game could have gone differently if Silent Purge had cargo as an option. I mean, I'm even surprised Subway wasn't an option. Well, like, they took out Subway. I would have thought Silent Purge would do decently on Subway.
No, Silent Purge do not enjoy Subway, and Beginners, I'd say at the moment, are the kings of Subway. If you check out
Right.
the final against Global Chem, they dominate them in Subway. But regardless, Beginners now have defeated arguably the three strongest teams in the EU. Boss Fight coming the closest to beating them so far, but Beginners have started the season with stamping the control, stamping the dominance, asserting the control over the EU so far. Undefeated, 4-0. They've taken out, arguably, like I said, the 3 best teams in the EU.
Yeah, you gotta give them
What are you
respect
going to say,
for that.
Boss
I mean,
Fight?
No. You're out there.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, I'm impressed. I mean, it was very, very clean plays from Beginners tonight. Very tactical, very strategic. Good plays coming out from Silent Purge. I think you know what just let them down was their timing at times. They just didn't have the timing to execute things as cleanly as they could have, and I think that would have made all the difference for them.
I think arguably, there's the team that punishes the mistakes in Onward is Beginners. If you make any mistakes versus Beginners, you're gonna get punished. And I think that's what we saw tonight. I think any time Silent Purge gave Beginners an opening, Beginners took it. And any time Silent Purge put a single foot wrong, Beginners punished it. So I think that's what we saw tonight. Great play by both teams. Real honor to be able to cast with you, Viper, and it was great. I hope you all enjoyed the cast. I apologize that you couldn't see my beautiful face for the entire cast, but it's important to be able to see the game.
Indeed, and Gotta say, massive shout out to the casting community who works so hard in this game, and I hope everybody's pumped for Onward 1.8 next week. The PC release and Oculus Quest release is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna change our world. Putting load times in half.
Who knows, Viper? It's going to be a completely different world. And next time you see a cast, it'll probably be this week, and it'll be amazing. There are many more games to be cast from week 4 of VRML Onward League. It's the only league to watch. It's the best league to watch. It's got the right casters. It's got the most professional casting team. It's got a great league setup. It's got the best teams. And this is where you need to come to see games of this caliber.
Hells.
And for me, Viper, I think I'm going to sign out.
I think that's it for us tonight, Radarhead. Thank you for everybody who did tune in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show, and as always, make sure to give a like and follow to the Onward VRML Onward Master League, and also check out our sister league in Echo Arena, which is quite popular and kicks a lot of butt.